All right, I'm going to do the introduction and I'm going to put it in text chat too. So, Stacy Lee is a veteran in her first life, U.S. Army, and a veteran of Second Life. With more than 18 and a half years of experience living and working in SL, she has a lot to say about how virtual spaces can enhance and expand life for military veterans. Her overarching mission is to end suicide and homelessness among veterans. And please see her full profile. We did a very nice interview based on what she wrote, and you will enjoy reading it afterwards, I'm sure. Okay, Stacy.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning. Good morning, and I'm so excited to see all of you here. Thank you. I'm loving seeing our jerseys. I appreciate that. For those of you that have shown up with that, it makes me feel really good. Um, Good morning. I'm Stacy. Thank you for being here. This beautiful texture that Janae did for us. I think I said it wrong, Janaya. Sorry, Janaya. Um, my name is Stacy Maracas, and in real life, I'm Stacy Lee. I'm a Desert Storm combat vet, as Wisdom just said, U.S. Army. Hooah! I am also co-president of a nonprofit organization for veterans by veterans. It's called ecovets.org Band of Brothers. Our main mission, as she stated, is to fight both the suicide and homelessness initiatives for our veteran brothers and sisters. Quick glimpse for all of you, circa June of 1987, I was 17 years old. In this photo, I hadn't even been out of high school for a whole week yet. I left 3 days after graduation for basic training. As you can see by the smile on my face, I had not yet got to the point where I said, oh my God, what was I thinking? This one was just a couple of months later after basic training, where I had already gone through the oh my God, what was I thinking phase. I have been in Second Life for longer than most of you here today. I'm proud of that fact for many reasons, but in keeping with today's subject matter, it is mainly for the social and creativity aspects that it provided to us here as residents. For me, coming to Second Life so many years ago, I entered with curiosity and stayed for the connections I made, the amazing things that I could see people create, and the ability to explore, learn, and mainly to socialize at my pace. Right before I came to Second Life, I was going through a very bad divorce from my combat veteran husband of 15 years. It traumatized me immensely, on top of the other trauma that I was already dealing with as not only a combat war vet myself, but a veteran that suffered from military sexual trauma as well. And that's me on the left. I was a hottie, I know. I'm just kidding. I was not social in any way in real life. My only goal was to go to work and go home to my children. I barely spoke to anybody at work. I did my job and I left. I was not myself, and I knew I was not myself. My children and my family got to see the true me, of course, but nobody else. I was very isolated, and it was by choice. Friends convinced me to come look at Second Life in early 2004, so I borrowed a friend's avatar. And after a period of time, I wanted to be myself, and Stacy Maracas was born. I do hold one claim to fame, and that is I was the first redhead in Second Life that was not a flaming orange color. And even though my prim hair did not match my system hair base, I got the RGB figured out enough to work with that damn prim hair. Second Life became a way for me to take baby steps, so to speak, when it came to getting myself back into the real world. If I became overwhelmed here, I could simply hit the off button and walk away and try again later. I slowly noticed myself venturing further out into Second Life. I was meeting new people, which then led to me saying more hellos or speaking a few sentences to coworkers in my real life. Guys, this did not happen overnight for me. I had many traumas to deal with, and I was quite cautious, but it did happen. Many years later, I met the EchoVets Band of Brothers organization at a veterans event in real life, and I was impressed by their extreme tenacity for helping veterans. By this time, I was much farther along in my social skills and readjustment to civilian life, and after about 8 years, I had even started dating someone. This event literally shaped my entire life. The knowledge that I had of the system, the Department of Veterans Affairs, these veterans, they needed it. I learned very quickly so many of our veterans out there did not know their benefits, how to get them, or sometimes even where to begin. I had walked up on the stage with over 300 of the band of brothers seated in the audience, and I just started talking, helping them, giving out my phone number. This was not the Stacy that I had been since leaving the military, but something had come over that day. Anger, that they had questions and nobody there was answering them. So damn it, I did. That night I laid in bed. I was so amped up after this meeting and being able to help some of these awesome veterans, my brothers and sisters. I couldn't sleep. I took this photo the next day. It was the first time that I had ever worn anything that said veteran since my exit from service. You see, I'd been given this hat years earlier, and it was on a shelf in my closet until this photo. I was ashamed of my service. I hated the military at that point and what I had gone through in it. PTSD, MST, survivor's guilt, you name it, it haunted me for so many years. I knew there had been a shift in my world that day. After all I had been through personally, my reason for not giving up on life itself was my children. They needed me. So they kept me here in life. Despite my dark thoughts, they kept me trucking along. But I didn't have the most important thing that I needed in my life to find Stacy's voice again. Purpose. When we leave the military, it's just over. It's done. You train and you're part of something so much bigger than you are. You have a mission, you have purpose. Then when you're done, you're just done. You no longer have a mission. You don't have that purpose anymore. Finding it again is vital to combating suicide among our ranks. For anyone, if they have no purpose, that's when the dark thoughts come, and sometimes they win. I joined that group. I got involved, and slowly over time, I found that this is why I was born. This is why I went through all the things that I did in my short life, so that I could someday be that voice for our veterans. So I could say to my brothers and sisters, hang on, breathe. I can help you with that. It hit me so hard, you guys. It was like God was throwing lightning strikes at me, right? This is my purpose. Midori Linden came to me one day. She had this idea. She has a passion for helping veterans. We discussed it a few times. And then one day, EchoVets Band of Brothers had a new chapter, a virtual one. Starting EchoVets in Second Life was an opportunity for me to simply continue what I already do in real life. Change veterans' lives by giving them knowledge to better their own. One of those things is bringing the social aspects of Second Life together with the knowledge of the system and assisting veterans on a live, one-on-one basis every day. We work together to combat those PTSD issues. We teach classes about it. We teach classes about suicide awareness. We have small groups to just be there for each other. And we have a quick reactionary force team. Some of those people are here today, Lady Mom and Soldier. For anyone who's having a bad day, dark thoughts, any of it, they can come to the sim, contact a QRF team member, and we're there to talk with them, guide them through it, and uplift them, whatever it takes. Socialization is absolutely primary when it comes to mental health. Connection, feeling like you are visible and you matter. Our older veteran population, which right now is the majority of that population, is our Korean War and Vietnam War veterans. You guys, it is crazy how often throughout the day I help veterans all around the same age, yet some are here, some are completely tech savvy, and others refuse to even use a cell phone. So to have our older population of veterans here in Second Life, it gives me the ability to further teach them how to access their benefits far easier and faster utilizing online tools than the old outdated forms and snail mail. It also gives us the opportunity to create fun events for them to come and socialize, find camaraderie with people who speak their language, both young and older. We have a military couple in our ranks. Yes, both of them are veterans. He was an infantryman and she was a nurse. They have been separated from each other geographically in real life so that each one of their children can take care of them as they're both bedridden. They can no longer be near each other physically, but in second life, the minute they wake up each morning, they get up, they start their day together, they chat while they're having their coffee, decide what fun, adventurous things they're going to do together in second life that day, and off they go. Mountain climbing, sailing, dancing, bike riding, but they're doing it together. That's one of the beauties of second life. They come to our sim, they chat by the fireside with other veterans. Since they are older veterans, they can give the younger ones advice on readjusting to civilian life, socializing, trusting of other people, and many other things. But if you ask them, it helps them too, because helping their younger generation of brothers and sisters, it gives them a purpose from a bed that they cannot leave. They are making a difference in other people's lives using simply their knowledge. It gives their mental health an uplift as well. Despite their real life circumstances, they are still that power couple working together to help others as a team, and in the process, they're healing too. Socialization is huge with any age of veteran. However, our highest suicide rates actually come from our older veteran population. Why do you guys think that is? Loneliness, feeling like the world has passed them by, overwhelmed with technology, politics, silence, and no socializing. We can combat all of those things here in Second Life. How could we not bring EcoVet's Vanna Brothers here to a population of veterans that literally needs us? The VA tells us to meet our veterans where they're at. I took that concept and I ran with it, and here we are. I had a knowledge that others do not in the system. I've been here almost 19 years. I was here myself for the same reasons. So I knew where to find our veterans. I knew where to go to give them knowledge and resources and help them obtain a better life for themselves as they age, a more comfortable life. What we do here is simply information, resources, and live assistance. I will call anywhere in the country for a veteran to ensure that they get what they need. And many of the people here can attest to that. I don't care who answers the phone, what rank they are in the VA system, or how expensive their shoes are. My brothers and sisters come first. We had a gentleman, 82 years old, come to the sim. Very gruffly, he tells me, "I heard you can help me." I said, "Possibly. What can I do for you, brother?" He proceeds to tell me that the VA gave him an electric wheelchair 10 months earlier. Now, the proper protocol in the VA is your doctor sends a consult to the prosthetics department. They put the chair together, arrange delivery to the veteran's outpatient clinic or VA hospital nearest to them. Then the veteran receives an appointment by their nurses on the proper care and maintenance of the chair. While this is happening, the maintenance department is placing a lift on that veteran's vehicle, right, out in the parking lot, and so on. For this particular veteran, everything went way wrong. They somehow mailed the electric wheelchair to his home, still in the box. This veteran, who's already in a manual wheelchair, put this electric wheelchair together by himself. He notified his doctor a couple of days later that he did receive it, but it came to his house, and that he didn't have a lift on his vehicle to go anywhere. So essentially, the VA gave him his freedom, but took it away at the same time, right? The ball got dropped somewhere, and it happens. The VA system is the largest healthcare system in the country. This veteran never received that lift in 10 months. So I gave him my cell number. I told him to call me at work the next day. We contacted his VA clinic together, and I spoke to his nurse, telling her, "Lady, strangest call you're going to get all year. I met your patient in a virtual world, and we need your help." I explained the situation. She was really angry and upset about it, and she promised me that he would have his lift as soon as possible. You see, this veteran did everything right, but without knowledge of the system, he was at a stopping point and he had no idea what to do next. This is why we do what we do. He came in world 4 days later and tells me, guess what I did this evening? I met my friends in town and had dinner with them tonight. You are an angel, and thank you. That is the only thanks that is required for me. Knowing that this man now has what he needs, and that in his older life, he is now comfortable. And he has a freedom that he did not have before. This is why we do what we do. Second Life affords me the opportunity to provide this outreach, this knowledge of the system on a national level. Care for our veterans, no matter their age. But knowing the larger population of veterans in Second Life is actually our older veterans, it ensures that we're aiding them in having a better life as they age, more comfortable, knowledge of the system, and how to get what they need with all the red tape crap and confusion within the VA system. Socialization and camaraderie is only one small part of the whole wellness of our veterans. We have also now created the only Armed Forces Museum experience in Second Life, where anyone can come and read real stories from real veterans here in Second Life. Each branch has a building, and you'll find those stories in them. This affords us the opportunity to teach military history from her firsthand accounts of those who have been there. And if you haven't been there, come and check it out. We have some World War II stories. We have my story is there, which is much more detailed than what I've given you here. So please send veterans that you meet to ecovets.org, Banner Brothers, when you meet them. Send them over to the SIM. This is a place that welcomes them, is ready to help them, and prepared to take whatever their needs and wants are, because we can and will do. And for those of that know me, I will not stop doing so. Thank you so much for your time this morning, and I am available for any questions that you may have at this time. Speak up. Thank you, Mickey. So I'm looking out in our audience. We have Lady Mom and Soldier here. They both are on our QRF team. Um, I I was kind of trying to, I know that some people were asking me questions. Please repaste them because I was kind of concentrating on what I'm doing because I'm not the most graceful chick in the world and I have to concentrate on one thing at a time. So if you have questions, by all means, please ask away. Yeah, I can multitask, but I can't read and walk at the same time. Basically, I'll trip and fall. I am that female that will trip and fall. um,
Stacy, I mean, people can talk too, right?
Absolutely, they can talk.
Yeah,
Speak up, talk to me.
yeah, yeah. So say more about the development of the ecovets here, the sim and so on. Can you describe it more?
I can. I actually had the idea in my head. It wasn't something I ever thought. Banner Brothers in real life, I started off as just a softball commissioner with them. Um, they forced me to do it. I didn't want to because it required socializing, and at that point, I wasn't ready. And I am now co-president of the organization. They gave me that title in December of 2022, so it's very recent. Um, and I literally had reached out to Linden Labs with an idea on this little tiny plot of land that I had of just seeing if there was a way to uh, reach out to veterans, if there was groups. I was still not knowledgeable, I should say, of nonprofits and what we do here in Second Life. I've always done different things here. And one day, and this is literally, this happened, Midori landed on my head. She literally landed on my head, obviously teleported to me, and she expressed to me her passion for helping veterans. And we talked, and she then learned that, where I work in real life and what I do in real life. And she's like, this is perfect. You could do this here. Talk to me about the nonprofit sim. And over a few conversations, and a couple of months later, EchoVets was dropped at the end of August. And we got to work. And one of the first people that came to our sim was Soldier. And for those of you that don't know Soldier, he's an Iraq war vet and has multiple traumatic brain injuries. And we love the hell out of him. He'll forget you 10 minutes later if he's just met you. He has to meet you about 10 times before he remembers who you are. But I remember that first day, we were giving tours of the sim. And I laughed because we had given him like 5 or 6 tours. And I finally said, "Sir, do you just love our sim or what?" And he said, "No, I just want to make sure I remember where everything's at." And that's when he explained to me, uh, and that he forgets. So God love him. I still feel bad to this day because about 2 weeks in, I changed the entire sim. And he comes back and he goes, "Are you kidding me right now, Stacy?" so, he has been an amazing help to us. His mom, Lady Mom, all of our mom. She's all of our mom, but she's Soldier's mom. She joined us later on, and we've had people come and go. Some people just need us just for a little bit of knowledge and some camaraderie temporarily, and some people stick with us. And Soldier's been with us from the beginning. Mom has been with us for a long time. We have the dog family who's been with us for a few months now. Nas, there is Snowmy. Oh, my little Snowmy, I love her. We have just some amazing people there. But Midori's initial dream for this sim, I think that we took it and we went way above and beyond what she was expecting. And that's just how I roll, helping our vets.
That is true because Midori spent quite a bit of time at a recent education meeting. You belong to the Virtual World Education Consortium because you're part of that whole Eduverse. Now, she told us about the award you got recently. Can you say something about that?
Well, actually, she still isn't all in the know. Most of the
Oh,
people at EchoVets are. So I'll make this as quick as possible. So a couple months ago, I actually will kind of backdate a little more. Back in February, there's an organization called Nation's Finest, and they are a great organization in the country. I'm going to bring this up so I can show you guys the thing. So the organization sent me a message and said, "Hey, we had over 6,000 um, people that were nominated for this award. Um, and we've narrowed it down to 234 people, and you're one of those 234 people." And I thought, wow, that's freaking crazy. How the hell do you know about me? So they said on Memorial Day of 2023, we'll be selecting Nation's Finest 50. This is their 50th year as an um, uh, they were selecting the Nation's Finest 50 veteran advocates. So then they sent me the gallery for it, and I'm laughing as I'm going through it, knowing I'm never going to hear from these people again because literally Gary Sinise is in there, Dwayne the Rock Johnson, Gavin Newsom, all these governors, senators. I know, Mike, I totally am. Governors, senators, these huge people that I don't see myself as one of those people that are way up there. I'm just Stace, right? I'm totally fine with sitting in my office helping veterans or sitting here in Second Life. So I honestly ignored it. I thought, oh, cool, I'll get a nice little certificate from them and I can hang it up in my office and be proud of it. And I forgot about it. A couple of months ago, I was in my office with a veteran, an Iraq vet, Marine, hardcore, didn't want to hear me, was wrestling with him, telling him to stop being such a jarhead that he is and let me help him. And I finally got through to him. But as we're talking, my Teams messenger on my computer is just ding, 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 just going off. And I hear stuff going on outside my door. So after we finish, I walk him out, and the whole staff is there, and they're like, have you read your email? I'm like, no, I haven't read my email. I was working. You guys know how I am. So we ran back to my desk. I checked my email. Our zone director, who runs about 7 states of the vet center, he had sent out an email to literally everybody, which is, you're talking thousands of people, congratulating me because I had been selected by the Department of Veterans Affairs Center for Women Veterans as a 2023 Trailblazer, which there was 21 women selected. This is a different award. And I'm like, who is putting me in for all these awards? What the heck is wrong with people? You know, they know how I am. I'm still kind of nervous to talk in front of a bunch of people. So this is a very esteemed award. They are paying for me to go to Washington, D.C., which I've never been there. I always thought, if any of you ever heard of Honor Flight, I always thought I would be like 80 years old in a wheelchair seeing Washington, D.C. for the first time from the seat of a wheelchair on my Honor Flight when I finally got to go. So I'm very excited about it. The award is being given to me at the Library of Congress. We're getting a tour of the Library of Congress. It's just very exciting. But it's an esteemed award, and what that award is it is the Department of Veterans Affairs recognizing women veterans that are out making a difference in the lives of veterans by doing boots on the ground stuff, what we do. So, me being me, I could get up there and say, oh, I'm so proud of myself. Look at everything I've done. But for those that know me know that is not going to happen. My first reaction after jumping up and down about freaking out that I get to go to Washington was, holy crap, the secretary of the VA is going to be there, senators, congressmen, all these people that are important, right? That are way up there above me. That's a platform for me to talk to them about what Echo Vets Banner Brothers does for my brothers and sisters. This is a platform for me. And so, doggone it, I'm going to use it. Um, about a week later, I was doing my travel documents because if you ever work for the government, you know to travel in the government, even for a 2-day trip, it's 400 pounds of paperwork on the computer. So I'm doing on the on I saw the question. Live streaming is not available on the Center for Women Veterans Trailblazer Award. It's being done at the Library of Congress, and I don't think they're allowed to have like live stuff unless it's pre-done. So um, while I was getting all the paperwork done to do the travel for the Center for Women Veterans Award, which by the way is being done on June 12th, which is the National Veterans Recognition Day, Women Veterans Recognition Day. So that's really cool. I get to see the Women Veterans Memorial and stuff. While I'm doing the work for this, and this is what Midori does not know about, I get an email from Nation's Finest. And I ignored it. I'll be honest, I ignored it. I thought it was their newsletter. And I was like, yeah, I'll read it later. So that afternoon, I'm going through my emails and I receive a letter, which is what I pasted. I pasted the information on that. Congratulations, you're one of Nation's top 50. And I was like, no way. I was like, are you kidding me right now? I started laughing and I was like, oh, I bet you Gary Sinise is pissed. Because Gary Sinise, if you don't know who he is, he played Lieutenant Dan in Forrest Gump. but he has the Gary Sinise Foundation, and he does so much for veterans. And you know, I've had people tell me, as a matter of fact, the other president of Band of Brothers, Steve Baird, he yes, he he will tell you guys. You'll meet him if you come to our Memorial Day celebration that we're doing tomorrow evening. He's actually going to come on. He's still learning Second Life, but he told me, he said, "Sis, you have to stop thinking that you're not one of those important people in the room, because that's how I am." Yes, he will be here in Second Life at 6 p.m. And I will pull it up. Let me USO. I will give this, and listen, if you would want to hand that to people, that's going to, we're doing a USO style Bob Hope celebration. We have the play dolls that are going to do these awesome dance routines to Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy, and it's actually going to be great. Yes, he's going to have his butt glued to the seat, and he's going to log in, um, and we're both going to give opening speeches for the celebration that we're doing a week early on purpose. Anyway, he knows how I am. I'm that person that walks by a conference room with a whole bunch of important people and knows that I don't belong in there. But if I have a reason to go in there and talk to those people about helping my brothers and sisters, you bet your butt that I'm going to be right front and center of that room talking to those important people about what we do and how we can change lives. Um, so he told me, you've got to stop doing that to yourself. You are that important person. And these awards are proving that to you. And guys, you'll know I'll never be that way. So, but people do. Yes, Gentle, you're right. People need to hear the importance of aging in Second Life, the knowledge that we can give them to make their life more comfortable. The PACT Act that's now out that has changed so much for so many of our veterans, especially our older veterans. It's so huge, and the Department of Veterans Affairs has really, really come a long way. Um, and it's from, I'm going to take one piece of credit. It's from people like me that work there, that are a voice from within, that speak up and don't take no crap and aren't afraid to do it. And so that is why we've come as far as we've come.
Stacy, I have to say one thing here. It's really, it strikes me. Well, we're talking about healthful aging, and you've been describing your evolution over time, right?
Yes.
From when you were quite young until you are the age you are now, and what your journey really in
Yes.
growing. Even when you're talking about the awards, you're talking about the growth you're experiencing by taking the risk of doing these things, and
Yes.
then and taking the challenge really. And that when we think about aging, healthful aging, continuing to take challenges like this is so important for what we call an ageless mind. So I'm very excited to hear you talk about that. And have you ever thought about yourself that way before?
I am 53. So yeah, I guess I'm starting to age. My body is about 94. With all the injuries from the war and life itself, and you know, but I think the biggest thing, my tie between my journey with Second Life and my real life, was that socialization, that I could do it at my own pace. We have somebody here, and I'm going to call you out, Uh, Sinjin. Sinjin was in a pretty bad way when he came to Echo Vets. An amazing human being he is. Um, he has come so far, and I am so proud of him, that he's even here. Him being around a bunch of people, even in Second Life, was very, very, um, just didn't happen. Even hanging out at the fire pit with a bunch of people, he would be back away from everybody. But he has found some things in Second Life that keep him uplifted a little bit, and has come so far. And it's just proof that using virtual reality can get you where you need to be, to take those steps in your real life to be where you want to be and where you need to be. And it is, it's at your own pace because we have an off button here. And real life does not. The off button in real life is running away or closing yourself up in your home, isolating, which is what most of us at one point have all done, right? Whether we're veterans or not. Isolation, I can't even say that word. Isolation is it's such, it's the devil in disguise, because what are you doing? You're trapped with your own thoughts, right? Your own mind, and your own mind can be your worst enemy, especially when you are in the throes of depression and PTSD and all the other things. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Sin because I'm highly impressed by how far he's come. And he's going to keep going because I'm going to keep pushing him because that's how I roll. Absolutely, Janaya. I'm trying to see who else is here. Absolutely, sir.
Oh,
And we have
that's
a sailing
fantastic.
date, by the way. We still have to get done. I haven't forgotten. But you all keep me so busy, I can't go sailing.
Stacy, could I ask a question for someone?
Sure.
Yeah, someone asked earlier, what should you do, or how could echo vets help them if they have dark thoughts?
Well, one of the things that I tell people, so let's get one thing first and up front. So, and I've told this to our QRF team and to anybody at EchoVets, nobody is going to log into Second Life in an actual full-on suicidal crisis. It's just not going to happen. Um, it could, sure, do people log into Second Life really down on life, depressed, having, any of these, thoughts? Absolutely, yes, they do. But nobody goes, I think I'm going to take my life and I'm going to log into Second Life to do it. It's just very, I mean, what, 1 in a million, right? So when people come and what we do is we're there, we talk. Sin, you can kind of maybe add to that. I'm using that because Sin, when he came, he was in a really, really dark place when he came to Second Life. And we uplifted him as best as we could. But we also held him accountable. Did we not, Sin? We also said, okay, you know what? Yes, I understand that you feel this way, but you felt that way yesterday and you felt that way the day before. That's enough. Get your shit together. Let's figure out what makes you feel somewhat uplifted here in the world. Let's start thinking positive. This thought that you're having, what's the positive side of that thought? And we just talk to each other. Some of us are better at it than others. Nos, outstanding. I saw that. I'm a certified peer specialist as well. We need you in the system, brother. We need peer specialists. Peer-to-peer mentoring has come so far in just the last 5, 6, 7 years. People are finally starting to realize if Stacy Lee was sexually assaulted during the war, and there's a female that is 3 wars later in Afghanistan who was sexually assaulted while she was at war in Afghanistan, who better to talk to that female to get her mind in a better place than somebody else who also was sexually assaulted during war, or somebody that's homeless that also can talk to somebody else who's been homeless. It's peer-to-peer mentoring. And yes, Sin is looking at today instead of yesterday as much, and it gets his mind in a better place. Nos, you and I are going to talk because I want to put you to work, brother. And that's always my thing. When I talk to people and they tell me, hey, I've experienced this or I've done this, oh, I'm going to put you to work. And everybody, even in real life, people laugh at me. They're like, oh, shoot, Stacy knows what I do because I'm putting her to work. Mickey, I've done it to Mickey. I've done it to so many people that are here. Oh, yeah. Oh, that is wonderful. Come here. Let me put you to work. So it's what we do, and putting each other to work to help each other is how we get where we are. And yes, Janaya, that is exactly right.
May I ask you a
Because
question?
here I am talking to you today when not even 10 years ago, if you saw me in front of more than two people at once, that was an emergency. Something was wrong. So
So
there's a huge difference in healing your own self through helping others.
somebody just asked if they could ask a question.
Absolutely. Let her rip.
Who is that?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask what sense of your team and what is as a community here in SL? Thank you.
Let me, please, I apologize. I could not hear you.
Betty, could you type it? Or just ask it again? I think she asked, you said something about your team in real life compared to the team in SL. Is that correct? I think she's typing it.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. I apologize. I had the voice chat turned down a little bit more than I thought I did.
Okay, I think she was typing. Okay, what's the size of your team and community here in SL? I misunderstood it. So good that you typed it.
Janaya, I'll answer your question in just a moment after I answer Helly's. So Helly, right now we have I believe, oh, somebody might be able to answer this better than me. I think we have approximately 500 or 600 people in the group. And we are built like a military team would be. So we have a senior leadership team. We have myself as the president. We have Taylor Drew as the vice president. I have 3 executive officers. We have Renegade, Pit Dog, and Jake, who are our executive officers. Jake is actually our executive officers as executive officer. Wow, I can't talk. I apologize. For international veterans, because we not only help American veterans, we help all veterans internationally. Most of our information on the sim is for American vets, but we are working on getting information. So 399. So yeah, um, so then we also have a family support group for our families and our supporters. So we our QRF team has 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 5. Yeah, 5 people on our QRF team. And then, of course, if I'm online, I'm always available as well. Um, but I will tell you, they are named as the QRF team, but pretty much anybody who's hanging out at that sim, Mickey, she's a family supporter, she's a senior supporter, any of those people will stop what they are doing and help a veteran or another supporter or a family member when they come on the sim and they're feeling down. We all work together. Um, so we are hoping to grow. We are always hoping to grow. But like I said, um, some people come to us and they're just a small need and they just need us for a little while. And then so other times people come and they're like, I found a home. And we like it when they find a home, because when they find a home, I put them to work. So
They
yeah.
become part of your community, really.
Absolutely. And something like what Mickey just said is, when we do have those veterans that maybe can't sleep at night and Stacy's already gone to bed for the night, we have people that are hanging out at the sim, that are there or available for those veterans that can't sleep and they come onto the sim. And we do watch that. And as much as we can, we're not perfect at it. We can't be there 24 hours a day, but yes, we have people that log in the mornings and are like, okay, I'm over at the fire. Mom is great for that. Lady Mom she'll say, okay, I'm at the fire pit. Come on over and have your morning coffee with me. And that's what we do. It's and the fire pit actually was an accident. For those of you that may not know that, we actually were building the sim, and I had put the pavement down for the plaza, and somebody set down a chair and somebody else set down a couch, and then somebody threw down a fire pit, and we just, and the fire pit's been there from day one, literally. And so then we made it look a little nicer because it was looking a little bit Sanford and Son for a while there. If you guys know what Sanford and Son is. But it just grew, it just created. And that's become the literally like the place to be at EcoVets. I mean, trust me, there's lots of places to be. We had a club built for us with special seating areas for our different branches of service. We have a bunch of crayons thrown in the Marine vet area. We have squid tables and a boat for the Navy vets and Coast Guard vets to sit in. And then, of course, in our Air Force department, we have a massage table and a butler because that's what they require. So, you know, the picking on each other, the camaraderie, it's nonstop. And I'm trying to open. No, Toya, we are not. I can, you know, the cool thing about veterans, they can always help active duty, right? Because we've been there. So I actually have quite a few active duty people in our ranks, and we do in real life as well. We have a lot of active duty members that come, and we totally will include them. They'll play ball with us in real life, bowling, billiards. We have a lot of different sports avenues in real life. And here in Second Life, we do have a few active duty, and one of them, we used to have an active duty veteran as our events coordinator. So, you know, we all inclusive, all inclusive. Even our supporters that are not family members or anything, they're just supporters of veterans. We put them to work. We give everybody the love. And Janaya, to answer your question, so what we do is we have a couple of different areas, one at the club and one down at the museum, where people can click and put their story on a note card and put it in a mailbox for me, and then drop photos in there and everything. And then what I do is I will put it together and get it into the branch of service that they are. I'd ask them questions. A couple of our veterans videoed me. They were not very good at typing. Yes, Snowmy, anybody can get a massage, but Air Force people have priority. But I had a couple of veterans that they're not really good at typing, and it's hard on their hands physically. So I used screen record and recorded our conversation of them telling me their story in private, and then I typed it out for them and passed it to them and have them review it and make sure. And I'll do anything. I want those stories. And just so that you guys are aware, they're not all heart crushing, sad. You know, some of these stories are uplifting as well. There's some war stories. There's some, you know, there's some really great stories in there. We have a Marine Corps veteran, 39 years active duty. She was. Her name is Soledad Kennedy, and I know her in real life. And I will tell you that you think of a Marine, and then you see this little tiny lady and she has a little tiny voice to go with it. And that is the most hardcore chick, but she's just a little teeny tiny. So, and writing the stories. Yes, Janai, I was just about to say that. Writing out your story is so healing. The first time I had to write down what happened to me being sexually assaulted during the war, that was hard. And I had a friend sit with me because I was in tears. It was hysterical. It's hard. It's hard to bring that up out of your body when you try to push it down to get to that point, right? So it's hard. But now I can sit here and tell you guys my story, no problem, because, well, it's not ever going to be no problem, but you know what I mean? It's easier. But yes, so we have that. I will help anybody. And we have fun stories too. So one of the funniest things, and I'll just make it real quick, it's not part of my story, but I want everybody's stories, because some of the things that we did active duty, we're so stupid. We're such goobers, I swear. So one of the things is, as a female in the military, we have to go to the field just like everybody else, right? We have field problems. Reforger is a 35-day fill problem in Europe. Yes. And I was tired of taking my little, gosh, I can't, my shovel, my little shovel, and taking it out to the woods and squatting, right? So I got totally mad one day, and I was at this thrift store, and I found this old oak wood dining chair. I took it back to the motor pool. I got one of the platoon sergeants to give me a saw. I sawed the center out of that chair. I bought me this cushy, beautiful, bright red toilet seat and cover. I bolted that sucker on that chair, flipped a burlap bag over it, and I threw a couple of total girly magazines in there and some toilet paper, and it went onto my rig. And every time I had to go, people knew where I was going. I had my entrenching tool, and I pulled my chair off the rack and off into the woods I went. But doggone it, I was comfortable, and people just don't think about doing stuff like that. So yeah, it's been pretty cool. Do we have veterans that have already experienced?
Hallie just wrote another question. Her question again.
Okay, let me see.
The last one.
I was reading it. Do you have veterans who have already experienced communicating with veterans from Ukraine? You know, I would not know the answer to that. That I know of. No, I can say one of the things that has happened is we actually have a veteran that is a Russian soldier. He left the Russian army because he refused to fight with Ukraine, and he's still in our ranks. We've seen him a few times here and there. He comes to visit, but yes, he told us his story, very broken English, but he said that we have.
Let's bring in Congressman Tony Gonzalez. He's a member of the.
That's my own personal, and I left the military because I will not fight against Ukraine, and so pretty cool stuff. No problem, Nikki. Thank you for being here. Sorry. My VP just said, "Are you still here?" So now I'm gonna make her hate me because I just teleported her here in front of everybody. Evil laugh. So yes, and I actually have run across two soldiers from Ukraine that obviously are not around right now. Prior to, but this was in my walk before the war started in Ukraine. But they're not part of EcoVets. EcoVets didn't exist before the war in Ukraine did, because we were, well, not in Second Life anyway. We've been around for almost 10 years. Yes. So I will definitely stop by. I would like to be a part of that. Anytime I can be of assistance to anybody, I don't care what country they're from, that's what we do. You know, that is the question of the hour, Lucena. How do more people know about us? I don't know. Word of mouth. I've got ad boards in places that I can't even dream of. We have, you know, Homes for Troops has these donation kiosks that people can get. I also have those kiosks, if people would put them out at their Sims, at their malls, at their clubs, whatever. It gives information about us, and it, of course, yes, it also is donations. We're nonprofit, but that kiosk also gives information about what we do and the landmarks and how to get to us. And I would love to do it. Yes, putting us in their picks. We do as much advertising as we can possibly think of. We have outreach specialists that go out and try, you know, talk to like the motorcycle clubs, talk to the rock clubs, dance clubs, anything that we do. We try to get our word out there, because if 1,000 Linden a month ad board gives me even one veteran that needs our help, you bet your butt I'm going to do it.
So I asked Shiloh if she wanted to type, but maybe the last, because we are getting near the end. Shiloh, do you want to ask your question?
Well, I can ask it. It's really kind of three-part. Stacy, I applaud you in your work. And I wonder if you could, and it would be hard to do, I guess, what has been the greatest challenge in getting recognition for vets? And two, where as vets age, what are the two or maybe three most significant issues that need to be addressed for veterans? And besides recognition, how would you go about achieving that? Through lobbyist pressure, or you got the stage?
Okay. Recognition as far as what, Shiloh?
The greatest challenge in getting recognition for vets? What has been the greatest recognition for getting recognition for vets? And secondly, as veterans are aging, what are the two most necessary or three most necessary issues that need to be addressed for aging?
Okay. Well, for our older veterans, honestly, keeping their minds from being idle, giving them something to do. And I think that's aging across the board, right? I mean, an idle mind is gone, right? So keeping them committed, keeping our veterans a purpose. That's what I always talk about, anybody, but with our older veterans, if they have something to wake up and do every day, that's going to keep their minds younger. But yes, you know, that's part of the concept of the museum is we learn from our older veterans. We learn how to have better lives ourselves from our older veterans. But I think the biggest challenges for our older veterans, real life mainly, of course, but it's navigating a healthcare system that is fully technological now, that they haven't caught up with that. And that has been probably my biggest challenge. Like I said, when I was talking, I have veterans that could be both the same age. One of them refuses to even use a cell phone, and the other one's like, "Oh, let me look that up on my email on my cell phone." And so it just depends on, that technology has been a huge, huge problem with our older vets. And one of the things is a lot of us veterans that work in the VA said, "Well, we have all this money. Why don't we give our veterans Apple iPads? Our veterans that are rural, that have to drive an hour to the nearest VA. Let's give them an iPad and they can do telehealth." So thousands of veterans received iPads in the VA, and they were given it with internet connected, and we gave them email addresses and we taught them how to use them. I will go out and talk to those veterans. I'm an outreach specialist, so that's what I do. I will sit with them and I will show them how to do those things. So we brought the technology to them and said, "Okay, now we're going to show you how to use it." Yeah. Also a big change for our older veterans, and it was a big challenge, was not knowing what questions to ask, and that's part of what we do. And those of us within the system would say, "No, give us an hour each week to have a class, to teach them. Okay, here's the va.gov website. This is how you prescriptions. This is how you can order. You don't have to call and sit on hold for 45 minutes. You can get on your computer or your little iPad we just gave you, and you can go to My Healthy Vet, which is part of my VA, and you can order your prescriptions by clicking this button right here, and it's all done for you, and it goes right to your doctor." And so, yeah, I mean, I think technology has honestly been probably our biggest, challenge, and we're tackling that. And then the second biggest challenge is just not having knowledge of the system, and that is my purpose. That's my life. And yes, anybody at any time, I put that up there. You've got my phone number up there. You've got my email up there. You can reach me in World. Please don't send me an offline in a chat, because literally within 10 minutes I'm capped. But I'm easy to find. I'm at the EchoVet Sim. Miss Taylor, I believe, did land. She's my vice president. We've got people here. If usually anybody that's running around on the sim can help you, but if you specifically have questions for me, by all means, drop me a note card. Send me an email. Call me.
That's great. Thank you. I was going to just,
I gotta
I'm,
shut up.
no, it's just that there's another program happening just across the way here, and we don't, and people can hear each other. So we have to
Thank you again,
we have to
everybody.
turn off our voices over here. Thank you so much, Stacy. It's been a lot of very interesting information, and so glad you're here, and all of you are here. So I just sent everybody a note about what's happening next, and we'll put some of Stacy's resources into the box as we go along. I gave them to you, but we'll have them in the box too for others. Okay, thank you.